Meg, I am so excited to be talking today about Chucky, our guest of honor.
Yes, I know. Season 3, it dropped.
And I'm so excited because we asked my cat Chili, he's a guru, if it's going to be renewed for season 4. And he said yes. He did a little bap thing.
He did. He chose the right card. He's very wise.
So today we're going to be talking about Chucky.
Yes.
I'm also going to be telling you about a recent movie I saw in the theater.
Yes, and we're going to be doing a horror rewind, and I am going to be discussing a movie from 1990 that is starring, of course, Brad Dourif.
Okay, that's great. I have this written down to talk about him, so it's perfect.
Yes.
And I'm going to talk to you about a true crime doc.
All right.
Welcome to Horror Rewind. I'm Kelly Florence.
And I'm Meg Hofdahl, and we are two ghoulish chicks who love horror flicks.
After discovering our shared love of horror, we became lifelong best friends.
We love creating and discussing female-driven horror while also hexing the patriarchy.
But we also love a down and dirty slasher, too.
We are mothers, co-authors, screenplay writers, and we don't mind a little trashy TV.
So welcome to Horror Rewind.
Join us, and let's begin.
So Meg, we are back. Horror Rewind is back, y'all. And we are in a new space. We're at Duluth Creative Co. in downtown Duluth, and we have a wonderful producer, Asher. Say hi, Asher.
What's up, everybody?
Yay!
And we are so excited to be here in this lovely space. And we brought Chucky with, of course.
We did. And he's the happy-go-lucky one.
Yeah, he's so cute.
I love in the show when they have the happy Chucky.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one.
I know, because he's a sweetheart.
Although I'm really enjoying the old, decrepit Chucky.
No, he's pretty funny.
You did you started to frown and be like, oh, Bubba.
I know, because I feel bad for him. I literally have a sad face.
I know. But before we really get into our main topic today, which is Chucky Season 3, I do want to say that we have been doing Horror Rewind for a long time now. But this is sort of like a rebirth,
yes.
which Chucky is sort of going through, right?
Yeah.
Not just the show, but the doll. But we're kind of going through this whole new sort of rebirth of our show.
Yeah. And so if you are a longtime listener, you know that we started Horror Rewind talking about movies from our childhood, seeing if they lived up to the lens of today. And then that got us talking about things that were in the movies that were happening. That led us to write our first book together, The Science of Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've completed our 8th book together. We'll be talking about that on further episodes, but we've come a long way, baby.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. And now, if you love listening to us, and maybe you've been listening to us from the very beginning, which would be very cool. We'd love to hear from you if that's the case. Back when we had a mixologist, remember that?
Yeah. Hey, Lisa, what's up?
Yeah.
You can come back and make drinks, Lisa.
Oh my gosh, we would love that. But she is rather busy, isn't she?
She is busy.
Being a mom and all that now. But, you can now check us out on YouTube, which is pretty cool because you can see us and you can actually come and look at Chucky, and we are sporting Chucky gear right now.
Yes.
So you'll have to come and see us.
So if you're just listening, make sure to check out the video.
If you're just listening, come and see, because we actually had to get out of our pajamas and we're wearing our Chucky gear. So thank you, Kelly. You outfitted us today.
You're welcome.
All right, back to Chucky.
So season 3,
yes.
You never know with Chucky, how can it get more ridiculous yet be so gory and clever, and heartwarming.
I know, somehow.
And they said it in the White House. If you have not watched this season, friends, it's ridiculously great.
Well, I love it's sort of a two-pronged thing, because not only is it extremely ambitious from the filmmakers or the TV makers side of things to set it in the White House. Like, what? But it's also extremely ambitious from Charles Lee Ray to be like, no, I'm going to go straight to the White House and kill people.
And he's got the nuke codes.
What?
I
know. I love the nuke code sequence where Chucky's like, you know what? I want to be the best serial killer in the whole world. I'm going to nuke Russia. Where was this? I remember it was he wanted to nuke he wanted to nuke where Santa would be because he wants kids to know that spoiler alert,
Oh no.
Santa's, okay, I won't say it.
Santa's
And
not dead, don't worry.
Santa did not die. And I don't remember what the other country was, but he wanted to be like the most epic serial killer, which I mean some serial killers do have that like hope and dream. And if anybody should like
It's
have it,
Chucky.
it's Chucky. So I love the ambition there. But I also love the ambition from, a show that, doesn't have the budget of Game of Thrones. And they're like, we're just gonna like have this be in the White House.
Yeah.
And
And the
that Devon
kills.
Sawa gets to be
Oh
president.
yeah. No, I love that he's in every season. And that's hilarious. And the kills are next level. They're always
Oh my
clever,
gosh.
but I can't believe that this is on television.
I know.
Like we didn't have anything like this growing up.
No. I mean, remember when like Dennis Franz like showed his butt on NYPD Blue or whatever that show
because
was?
we as kids had to watch whatever our parents had on. So yeah, we
Well,
watched. Or did you love NYPD Blue? Sorry.
No.
Oh,
I actually don't. I didn't ever actually even see the show.
Oh,
It was
okay.
that the controversy.
I see.
Or like when Ellen, like on her sitcom, like kissed a woman.
Yeah.
And that was like a huge like deal. And then you think about how the representation, it's Pride Month, and the representation on Chucky.
Oh my God. Yeah. Queer relationships openly, just blatantly, not unapologetic.
Right.
And it's fine. Like it's not, they're not making a big deal of anything. It's just, they're just
No.
these characters. And it's perfect.
And by the way, Chucky is very supportive
yeah.
of queer relationships, even though he kills people and is like awful in every other way.
Thanks, Chucky.
Yes, we love that about Chucky. But when you just think about the sort of rules on television, it's really cool that we get these kills. I mean, we get somebody suffocated by the American flag in the White
Yeah.
House. We get, oh gosh, what else? So many great things.
It's just ridiculous.
Oh, eye gouging. I
Yeah.
love a great eye gouging.
Something that I really appreciate too is that obviously this show does not take itself seriously.
No.
It's very cheeky. It's very like wink to the audience. And I loved the scene when he was flipping channels and he came across like the dummy from Goosebumps and
Oh, yes.
that movie, that James Wan movie with the puppet. And
Oh,
then,
Dead Silence.
Yeah, Dead Silence.
Yes.
And then like he showed Megan doing the
Oh,
dance and he's like,
yes.
she stole my moves.
Yeah.
Like, that was hilarious.
Oh, can I say that's a good Chucky?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a really good Chucky. That was fun, by the way, when Jake got to be Chucky. That was really fun.
Yeah.
He got to embody Chucky.
Yeah.
I thought that would be fun as an actor.
Yeah.
Like, because I was always like in school when I wanted to do theater, I wanted to be the bad guy. Were you in theater wanting to be the villain?
You know, when I was in theater, I was like, I'll do anything. And then I
Okay.
didn't get a villain. I would never played a villain. But yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. I mean, wouldn't it? Because people get to embody Chucky
Yeah.
quite a bit because he's always bouncing around. I mean, his true love is to be in the good guy doll, but being to embody Chucky would be a lot of fun.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, come on.
No, it's great. And I love Jennifer Tilly.
Oh my God.
I love something about also how progressive I think this show is. She has breasts and they're just out there and they're like try to cover them up. She's a woman.
She's a fully formed woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and it's fine. And it's not
Yes.
like they're sexualizing her. She's the size she is and she lives her best life.
Yes, she does. And her as Tiffany Valentine, everything is so meta. So
Oh, yeah.
like everyone thinks she's Jennifer Tilly while she's in prison, but she's Tiffany Valentine. And there's so many layers to it, which could get extremely convoluted, especially when you think about we have actors playing multiple roles. So like when Jake, I keep saying Jake, but I think that's his name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. When he goes into the dream sequence and he sees his father, who's also played by Devon Sawa, that could get confusing, but somehow it all works.
No, it totally does.
And when we see Brad Dourif And we see Fiona Dourif playing him
Oh
as a
my
younger
gosh, I
version,
know.
but she's also playing Nika. I mean, there's like so many different layers that
Yeah,
be could ruin it.
yeah,
But
but they make it
somehow
work.
they make it work, and I don't know if it's like there's this one particular mastermind, the creator of Chucky who, his name escaped me all of a sudden.
Don Mancini?
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if it's like he just knows exactly what he's doing or if it's this amazing team that,
It's probably a combination
oh, I'm
because
sure.
and a
Yeah.
little bit of witchcraft
Yeah,
because it
yeah.
seriously, it shouldn't work. Like, you say it out loud, like,
Yeah.
This season Chucky's in the White House," but it
Yeah.
works.
It works, and I think a big part of it is that it is cheeky and it doesn't take itself
Yeah,
seriously. Because there is this, like it has this groundwork of this mythology that doesn't that if it took itself too seriously, it would be like, "Huh?"
yeah,
But because you're willing to suspend your disbelief because you are watching this doll viciously murder people and
yeah.
you're allowing yourself to laugh, but it's also just great fun, and there's all these great relationships, and you're like, "Oh my
Oh my gosh. No,
gosh."
they explore friendship,
Mhm.
family relationships,
Yep.
siblings, love relationships, like everything.
Yeah.
It covers everything.
Yeah, it really does. So speaking of, you said witchcraft, and it made me think. I actually did a little research on Damballa. Is that what they say? The god that he worships. That
Okay.
he's yeah. So it actually is real, and it goes back to the very original Child's Play.
Uh,
So this is like they aren't like this isn't something they just pulled out
yeah.
at the last minute, which I thought was really cool. And it is okay, I wrote it down because like I did homework for you guys. Um, let's see. Oh, it's a real Haitian spirit in Obeah, which we did some research on Obeah for our travel book. So I was like, "Oh, I know this, I know this." And it's usually a white or black serpent or a rainbow serpent, which I was like, Pride Month and Chucky. If you
Yes.
go on the Peacock app
App.
right now, he's up on the Pride Month
Aw,
with Cher and somebody else, and
that's
I
so
thought that was
cute.
hilarious. Like it's like a
Yeah.
little picture of them. And it is the Sky Father, the primordial creator of all life, and he is used in the incantation in Child's Play. When he goes in originally in the good guy doll.
Oh,
And I thought that was really cool that many years ago, how many years ago? 40 years ago, when Child's Play came out, and now they're still using
yeah.
that
That
reference,
origin.
that origin, in why he's in big trouble now.
So
So I think that's really cool.
something that I know we talked about when we talked about Child's Play years
Yeah.
ago on the podcast.
Mhm.
Neither of us were huge Child's Play fans,
Mhm.
like, after when we saw it when we were younger,
Yeah.
but going back and rewatching it, and then when they did that reboot, with Aubrey Plaza,
Yeah.
I freaking loved it, and I
Yeah.
really appreciated how clever it is and that it's not taking itself so seriously, and he's so funny, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think with Child's Play, he that was a straight horror film. There's not like a lot of cheekiness to
Yeah,
it. Like he doesn't have a chance to really like it wasn't until the later like films that he's really like funny
yeah.
and silly and stuff. So yeah, I agree. Like I think it was later on in life that I was like more attracted to the cheekiness of
No,
it.
yeah, no, me
And
too.
now this series has really
Oh my
cemented
gosh.
my
No,
love.
it's off the charts of what I thought it would
Mhm.
be,
Yeah,
and
I
yeah, it's so much
agree.
better.
I
So we're
agree.
hoping, fingers crossed, for season 4.
Yes. And so okay, this is my only I know this is like, oh my gosh, we just gushed and gushed. So this is my only like thought of how if I were like in a room and I was pitching like, okay, I know like it's on the fence and this is how I would pitch the next season of Chucky maybe to save some money. I know that what we really want is Chucky, right?
Yeah.
I think that they should turn it into like a 30-minute show
I
so
would
that
be
we can
happy with that.
have
Yeah.
more Chucky, less adults talking. Because I'm like, there was a lot of like adults talking
No, I
in the
know.
White House,
And
you
that
know?
those parts were really boring.
Yeah, there were some boring parts where it was like
The First
The First
Lady.
Lady, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It's like there was a lot of First Lady action where it was like she was, like, dealing with her husband dying, and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. I just,
You
I
know.
don't care enough about her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, say stick with the teenagers, and we had a cliffhanger at the end
Yeah.
where they're all like, you know,
They can't leave it like
we
that.
can't have a cliffhanger, they're all stuck in doll bodies,
Yeah. No.
which is a great cliffhanger, and I wanna see them, I don't know, somehow fighting Chucky in their doll
No,
bodies
that
or
would be
something.
hilarious.
We need it,
Now,
please.
speaking of Brad Dourif, you mentioned him, and I was thinking we both have had a Brad Dourif journey as the voice of Chucky, of course, but we both loved him from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest,
Mhm,
and then I don't know what you're gonna talk about or
mhm.
later, but, and then, of course, he was on one of our favorite X-Files episodes, Beyond the
Yes.
Sea,
Yes.
and what an amazing actor, and
Yeah.
he's been around forever, and he
Yeah.
still is.
Yeah, I was doing some research on his IMDb because I was looking for something for our horror rewind segment. And he is obviously a prolific actor who's been in many things. He his performance in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is, I think, one of the most amazing performances. And I think he gets a lot of flack for being like a overwrought actor or over the top. I personally think everything he does is
Yeah.
perfection. I don't care. I don't care if you think he eats the scenery. Like, I think he's perfect. In every scene in this season of Chucky, well, every part of Chucky that he's ever done is amazing, but when we got to see him physically in Chucky this season,
Yeah,
I was so pleased. I With that episode of The X-Files Beyond the Sea, I think it is, like, a masterwork performance. I recently rewatched it. He plays a serial killer,
yeah.
and he's just spot on. It's like, there are lines from that particular episode. I encourage anybody who is a Brad Dourif fan, a Chucky fan, to watch it. It's called Beyond the Sea. It's from the
And
first
you
season
can
of
watch
The
it. It's like it's
X-Files.
pretty, a standalone, so it's not like you have to know anything going
Oh,
in.
yeah, you don't need to have ever watched The X-Files, but, yeah, if you're a Brad Dourif fan, just watch it. It's Oh my god, it's haunting, it's so good. He's just
No,
so excellent in it. I
I know.
just
I
love
agree.
him, and watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, he's just such a sweetie in it.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, what do you rank this season of Chucky on a scale of 0 to 10? 0 being you hated it, 10 being you think it's a perfect season of television. We need a scale. We always
Okay,
rank on a scale.
okay. We're gonna go with I think we need to rank it with I'm looking at the Chucky who's here with us in the
Yeah.
studio, and he looks so sweet and he's so nice, but then I have to think about the horror that he's caused. He said he doesn't love guns because it's not intimate enough, and he loves to use, knives and those so he uses
Let's
knives
use
are
a
his big.
slasher knife. So,
Yeah.
how many slasher knives do you give this season of Chucky?
I'm gonna give it 9 because I think that it's so close to perfect, but I just have to ding it because I think that it really should be a half-hour show so we can just really concentrate on Chucky and Tiffany and, like, the people we're there for.
I agree. I
So,
would also give it a 9
yeah.
because, like you said, there's some scenes that were boring, and I was like looking at my phone, and that's always a
Yeah.
bad sign if you're like,
Yeah.
okay, another dialogue scene. No, like I need the action.
Yes, yeah, I agree, I agree. Let's cut out some of the adults. I think that we need to focus on the teenagers. I think that those 3 teenagers that we followed through the 3 seasons, they're really where
Yeah, they're
it's at.
so good. I
Yeah,
love it. All
yeah.
right, so check out Chucky season 3 if you haven't yet. Now
Yes.
we're talking about a rewind. Meg, what are
Oh,
you
I
bringing?
am so excited. Okay, so I'm flipping it in my notebook because I took notes, but, like, I probably don't even need my notes because do you ever, like, come across I'm just, like, so giddy because I came across this movie. As I said, I was in IMDb, and I'm looking for something. I'm like, "There's gotta be a Brad Dourif horror movie I've never seen," right? And I came across the title of this movie. I'm excited to hear if you've ever seen it. because I had never heard of it before. And it's a Tobe Hooper movie. And I'm like, okay, I've never heard of this. And it's starring Brad Dourif. He's the star. Yeah, it was 1990. And it said free. It was free on Tubi. So everybody, you have no excuse not to watch it now. It was called Spontaneous Combustion.
Okay, it sounds familiar.
Okay.
So I may have seen it,
Okay.
like rented it on VHS at one point in my
Okay.
life.
Okay. So I was just like giddy. I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay. I know what I'm going to watch now." So I was just so delighted cuz I'm like, I
Is
there's
it what the title
yeah,
suggests?
yes. So I was like, first of all, if you're not interested in watching it, look up the poster
Wait, I'm gonna do it right
because
now as you're
okay,
talking.
it has this amazing blue. There's a few international posters, but there's this amazing, like, blue-hued poster, and it's just I love it. I don't know why, but it has this amazing image of Brad Dourif, and there's just all this smoke, and it just,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's so hypnotic looking. I just love it, and show it to me. Yes. I just love it. It's just so 1990. Anyway, so y'all just look up the poster. But this is Spin Magazine's quote about it. No one makes bad movies as deliriously entertaining as Tobe Hooper, whose career continues its spectacular downward slide with spontaneous
Oh,
combustion.
no.
Okay, so this is after he made Poltergeist, after he made Texas Chainsaw Massacre, obviously. So I'm like, "Well, strap me in, I'm ready." So, I'm not gonna, like, tell you everything because
I wanna
obviously
watch it, yeah.
you need to watch it, and I don't wanna, give too many spoilers for everyone listening because I hope that there are Brad Dourif fans out here who want to see it, and the thing is, I'm going to say that this is a film that I recommend for people who love Brad Dourif or are Brad Dourif curious or Tobe Hooper curious. I will say it's not what I would say is an excellent movie, but it is a fun movie and it is a horror. It's okay.
Tell me one thing. Are the special effects practical?
Both. So
Okay.
there's practical effects that I actually really thought were cool. And there are visual effects that are not cool. um, here's what I will say. It was called Spontaneous Combustion, and I was just like so giggly because who doesn't love spontaneous human
Well,
combustion?
yeah.
I mean, that's like one of my favorite things that when I found out about in like I had a book, a paranormal,
Yeah.
events type of book. And it had like the image of the woman who supposedly had like
Combusted?
combusted and it had just her feet. It's like one of those images that sticks with you for life. And she had exploded like spontaneously as you do. And that's one of those things in life where it's like if that's true, like
There could be
There
anything.
there are monsters
Yeah.
on this
On this
world.
world, yeah.
Yeah. Like, if you could just spontaneously start on fire, what is the point of anything?
Well, guess I'll go back to bed.
Yeah, exactly, and so I love that concept, but this is a more it kind of is an ode to, like, 50s atomic
Okay.
age, um, creature feature a little bit.
So, maybe if this is too spoilery, don't say, but is
Okay.
the government
The
involved?
government is
Okay.
involved, but that doesn't necessarily take all the fun away. So yeah, I guess it maybe takes some of the spontaneity away.
Yeah.
What I will say though is I've never seen Brad Dourif get to be a romantic lead, which I really liked.
Oh.
He's an unsuspecting cute like teacher in the beginning and he has
Aw.
a fiance, which I've never seen before. So that was really fun and it made me feel some things in my pants.
Oh,
So that was interesting.
okay.
I admit it. And it had like an early X-Files feeling to me.
Yeah.
There was literally like a cigarette smoking man,
Okay.
literally,
Yeah.
in shadow in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because it actually starts out in the
Okay.
1950s, and his parents are being tested on. So let
Oh.
that, you know, and his mom's
Yeah.
pregnant.
Okay.
So, you know. Uh he and it's almost more fun because you get to see him be like leading man Brad Dourif, and then you get to see him devolve into classic really go nuts Brad Dourif.
Very cool.
So it was fun. Um the main woman in it is Cynthia Bain, and the only thing that she had been in that I knew anything about was she was in Pumpkinhead.
Okay.
John Landis is randomly in it,
Okay.
the director, and he's kind of he gets randomly killed. Melinda Dillon is in it, and she is the mom in Harry and the
I
Hendersons.
love that movie.
Yes. Um, something that is fascinating about this film, it is like one of the worst flops ever. Maybe this is why Brad Dourif didn't become like
Aw.
a huge star, and we talk about him in terms of character actor. It cost $5.5 million.
That's a lot back then.
It made like just like prepare yourself for
Oh,
this.
no.
It made $50,000.
How is that even possible?
Doesn't that
No, that's
hurt?
bad.
And when Tobe Hooper died in 2017, someone had like a journalist had gone to see if like there was anything about him talking about this film, because he wrote and directed it, and it is a strange script, I will tell you. Like it, sometimes it just doesn't make sense, I'm gonna be honest. uh and he just never talked about it. Like there's just
Oh,
no like interviews of him talking about it. It's very hard to find information on it. So I think that's why like I had never heard of it. And yeah, it's just kind of one of those movies that just never really made anything of itself, and never really
never really blew up.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Kelly, I love it.
I want you to rank this, and your scale has to be that woman's feet that were left.
Oh my goodness. Okay, are we going like 2 feet equal 1
Yeah.
star? Okay. Wow. Okay.
Like, how much am I going to enjoy this?
Am I rating this based on like what I think you're gonna think about
No,
it?
what you
This
thought
is
of
me.
it.
This is my. Okay, I'm gonna give it like a solid 7.
Oh,
Actually, for me,
okay.
because Brad Dourif,
Okay.
and because I appreciate what they were doing. They actually had like some really nice odes to the 50s and like the atomic age and those kinds of things, and I liked how they were trying to make some statements about like the environment and things like that. Like they were trying he was trying.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm giving too much for
Yeah.
effort,
No, that's okay.
but I appreciated it, and it was fun, and I loved some of the practical effects, and over time, like Brad Dourif's, it's actually there's a lot of body horror because I don't want to spoil too much, but Brad Dourif is not dying from what's happening to him while other people are dying.
Yeah.
He's not dying from this. So there's a body horror element,
Yeah.
and can you think of a better actor to
No,
be going through that?
he's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, that
So,
reminds me, there was that spontaneous human combustion movie a few years ago. That
oh,
was a
spontaneous.
yeah, that
Yes.
was an allegory for school shootings. So that was
Yeah,
really dark and heavy.
it was. I actually thought it was excellent,
Yeah.
but it was very dark and heavy. Yeah, it was. It was I think I cried
Oh,
during
yeah,
it.
for sure.
Yeah. It was an excellent movie, but yeah, it was done really well.
Yeah.
But it was horrific.
So I was trying to think what other movies have done that,
Yeah,
so
yeah. I wonder how you could do that in a way where it's just a fun it's just a fun spontaneous
yeah.
human
I
combustion
don't
movie.
know. We're gonna figure it out, and we're
Yeah.
gonna write it.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm gonna talk about a fast forward now.
Okay.
I saw something in the theater on opening night, you know I did, because I'm a
Okay.
huge fan of Mad Max: Fury Road and
Yes.
the prequel, came out, and it's Furiosa.
Okay.
George Miller, of course, is involved, and
Yes.
I think that that's what makes it work. I'm going to
Okay.
tell you though, it's not. I mean, it's still in theaters, but it's got a little bit of your spontaneous combustion
Ooh!
budget. Not really, but it took a $168 million budget, and at the box office, they're calling it a flop, only having made $116 million. It hasn't made its money
It's
back.
it's more than 50,000 though.
Yeah, that's true. So I have to tell you, obviously, I loved it.
Yeah.
And Anya Taylor-Joy plays a young Furiosa. The thing that people were a little upset about is that they didn't ask Charlize Theron back, and they George Miller talked about he didn't want to use AI to de-age her because it would be too uncanny valley. And so she was disappointed that she wasn't asked back, but it's
Well,
literally like her childhood story to like how she loses her arm and all of that. So I wasn't mad about it, but I could see Charlize Theron being
well,
like,
but I mean, okay, so it's a prequel.
yeah,
It's the same character,
yeah,
but she's much younger.
right. And so
Well,
we
okay.
literally start with her as a child,
Okay.
and I just saw an interview about this. They used some AI on this actress to make her look like Anya Taylor-Joy, which was incredible because it
Okay.
really did look like her.
Yeah.
But because it wasn't like de-aging, Charlize Theron, it's not creepy
And it
because you
was
don't even realize.
and it was not for like the whole
No,
movie, which
exactly.
it would have been
Yeah.
for. Yeah, I mean, I feel like people are going to be mad about
No,
anything,
it's true. It's
So
true.
it's like
Now, speaking of things
eh,
that I'm mad about,
yeah.
I did not love Chris Hemsworth as the casting choice
Oh, he's the bad
because,
guy, right?
well, I won't give
Oh,
anything
okay.
away.
Okay.
Let's just say, he's Thor and he's wearing a cape in this movie. So, like, all
Okay.
you can think about is, like, is that Thor? And I just feel like they should have cast somebody who wasn't a superhero because it was
Oh.
distracting.
So you felt like when you were looking upon him, he just had this like he just looked like
Yeah,
Thor.
yeah. And, he
He was
was kind of
styled.
styled like him. So I feel like that casting
Oh.
choice, it should have been, I don't know, maybe an unknown, I don't know. But it just that was
Interesting.
my main gripe. I just don't think that he should have been in it. So they set this
Oh.
movie as prequel. It's set 15 to 20 years before Fury Road,
Okay.
which is in the top 5 my favorite movies of all time.
Right. Yeah.
He and his co-writer George Miller spent 15 years writing that movie, Fury Road. And when they were writing it, they wrote a backstory for every single character so they knew their motivations and what had happened to them as children and where they came from. And so they had all this research done, and they're like, we need to turn Furiosa into its own movie. And they did. So that's
Okay.
how it came about because they did the work and they were
Yeah.
able to use it.
Okay. So here, I guess what I want to understand is how did you feel going into it? Because this is your one of your top 5 favorite movies. And this is a prequel, and I don't remember you even talking about it that much before you went into it. So, like, where were you mentally, emotionally, like, feeling about
I
it?
was excited just because since George Miller was in control, I knew that it wasn't gonna go off the rails.
Yeah.
I think I don't love it as much as Mad Max Fury Road,
Okay.
but it's so many strong female characters. They're so badass, and finding out these backstories, like, I freaking loved it. And this is huge. Mark
Okay.
came with me, and he did not fall asleep. This is I took him to Dune 2, and he slept for, like, 2.5 hours of it, and that's, like, practically the whole movie. He didn't fall asleep once, so I think that's saying a lot.
Okay, that is saying a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, now does Mark like Dune?
Um,
Does he care about the first
s
Dune?
well, he didn't love the first Dune as much as he loves the second because
Wait, but he
after
slept through the
no, but
second.
listen, so
Okay.
after he stayed awake for Furiosa, he's like, "We should go home and watch Dune 2, and I can probably stay awake," and he did.
Oh, wow, so he stayed awake
Yes.
back to
Yeah,
back.
it's a
Wow,
miracle.
did you slip him something?
No, well, I should have, but no, I think it's like I literally told him after Dune 2, "I'm never bringing you to the movie again because
Yeah.
why am I paying all this money and you're
Yeah.
snoring next to me?"
It's a nap.
So,
Oh,
anyway.
funny.
So, I'm gonna rank Furiosa. I'm going to give it a 9. I don't think it was perfect. Like I said, Chris Hemsworth was really distracting. My scale is Furiosa's metal arm.
Okay. 9 metal
Yeah.
arms. It feels like to me you're saying it enhanced Mad
Oh, yeah, for
Max,
sure.
like, having the backstory,
Yeah.
and Chris Hemsworth was too Thorish,
Just
but
distracting.
it still
Yeah.
has the same themes, and
Yeah.
it's, like, super
Oh, yeah.
feminist, and it's really
Absolutely.
good.
Yep.
Does it have, like, horror elements in it?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of
I
course.
figured. Yeah.
That's why I'm talking about it. Well, we can talk about other things, but
Yeah, we
yeah.
can, but I'm just wondering, like,
Yeah.
if it's spooky.
No, for sure.
Yeah, cool.
All right, we're going to go to our special features now.
Okay.
What have you been reading or watching or learning about?
Well, I wanna talk about a book that I think you would really like. So, it came out in 2022. I almost said 2002, like, but life just,
Well, it's the
we're in the
thing.
20s
No, it's the
now.
thing where people say, like, oh, in the 80s, 20 years ago. It still feels like that.
It does, it does. Okay, so 2022, and people have been talking about it. That's this amazing book, um, called Mary: An Awakening of Terror. And it has this great cover on it that unfortunately Sunny,
Oh,
my beautiful pug,
yeah.
was mad at me and ripped the cover
Oh,
off because she knows to go right for the groin,
yeah.
which is the book. Whatever book I'm reading, she knows, like, if she is upset with me, she rips off, and she knows that'll upset me and make me, like, get back on the couch because that's where she wants me at all
Quick
times.
side note, when my cat, Chili, is mad at me, he will just lay on top of my laptop or my phone because
Right.
those are my devices that I use to work, and he doesn't want me to work. He wants me to be
Exactly.
petting him. So, yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
so she, like, knows what is special to me and, like, knows what I've been touching, so she knows, like, it's the book I've been reading, and yeah.
What's it
So,
about?
well, I
But don't give it away. I
I
mean,
won't give
everything.
it away, I'm just gonna give you kind of the sketch of it, but I really do think you would like it because it just hits so many things. The reason I think that I was kind of hesitant to read it was because it's about a well, because it's written by a man, but it's about a woman on the cusp of her 50th birthday, who's experiencing menopause. And she, when she looks in the mirror and when she sees women her age, her face and their faces are like crumbling and like turning all disgusting. And she can't look in the mirror because everything like falls apart.
Oh,
She's having some other kind of weird issues. And I knew that, like, the aging thing was kind of a big part of the book, and I was kinda like, I don't know if I like that a man wrote it
right.
because the author's name is Nat Cassidy, and so I thought it was a woman because it was Nat, and then I heard it was a man, I was kinda like, I don't know." But I just kept hearing how amazing it was, and then I realized at the end of the book, he literally writes, like, an essay on why I wrote this, and I'm a man.
Oh,
So I was like, "Well,
yeah.
okay." Well, the beginning of the book, again, I'm not gonna give it away, starts out with this serial killer, and it happens that the serial killer dies right as she's born. So there's a serial killer happening, there's her turning 50 that happened right as she was born, there's weird things happening in her life, she's going back to the place that she was born, there might be a cult. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, but basically we have paranormal, serial killer, feminist rage. We have basically everything that hits, everything that we love.
Awesome.
And it's just an amazingly written book. And this Nat Cassidy, the really annoying thing is he's an amazing writer and he's like an actor, screenwriter. He's just like talented in all the things. And so anyway, it was amazing. I loved it. I read it while I was on vacation when my husband would like actually let me read. I don't know how Mark is on vacation.
Well, he's usually golfing, so
Oh, okay.
so I
Then
have
you would
time to
have lots
read.
of reading
Yeah.
time. Luke's like, what are we gonna do next? What are we gonna do next? I'm
Yeah.
like, oh well, I'd like to read. But anyway, it was so great, and I bought another book by this guy, so I accepted that he was a man and he wrote about a woman going through
You
menopause.
know, it's really ironic because this morning we were on Facebook and I saw a casting call seeking an actress, an elderly actress, 50 years old. And everybody in the comments came for the guy and they're like, elderly means 75 plus. So to hear that she was turning 50 and feeling this way,
Yeah.
yet we can feel empowered and not have age define us. So I love
Yeah,
that.
yeah. She was it's a really great, like, she's realizing that her life's just beginning, and um it's a really great book, and
Oh,
it's scary.
oh,
Like,
okay.
it's scary. There's some really great scary moments in it. I love great, like, psychological horror, but there's some great gory moments in it too.
Say the name of the book again.
It's called Mary: An Awakening of Terror,
Okay.
but you could just look up Mary, by Nat Cassidy, and it came out 2 years ago. It has a great cover on it if you have one with a cover. If anyone has one with a cover, an extra one they wanna send my way, otherwise, I will probably try to find another copy with a
Yeah,
cover
no, I
just
get
because I
it.
don't want I just have my really ugly one now. So, anyway, yeah, it was a great book, and, I haven't been reading as much lately because I'm in school, and we have to do a lot of reading within school, which isn't always book reading, it's, like, plays or, just poems or excerpts. So, when I actually get to read for fun and read a book, it's really fun, and it's almost always horror, so
And if you haven't been listening, like I think we updated on, I don't know, something, maybe an article or maybe a podcast that we've recorded. Meg is in school at Oxford for creative writing right now.
yeah, so and I'm gonna be going this summer to be on campus, which is gonna be really fun, but hopefully, that is not I didn't mean to say hopefully. It will not stop this podcast. We are going to be doing this amazing podcast here at Duluth Creative Co. So, we will be working around it, and, I will be flying back from England on weekends. No, I'm just kidding.
You're never going to come back.
Yeah, I'm just gonna be like, I'm British now."
Yeah,
That's gonna be my British
very
voice.
nice.
Yeah.
I think my Chucky impersonation was better. Just kidding. You're going to be like those people who like move there or visit there for like a little while and then you do gain the accent. Like
I
I love Gillian
know.
Anderson, but
No,
now she's full
no.
on British. It's like, what are you doing?
I know. I don't like it. I'm sorry.
I know. I know. We love you, Jillian, but
I liked it when she had the American accent.
yeah,
I don't know.
she's a great actress though.
She's a great actress.
So my special feature is something I don't know if you finished it, but I know you started it, is Dancing for the
Oh,
Devil.
yes,
Did
I
you
did
finish it?
finish it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
This is
yes.
bleak, friends. And didn't the
I'm sorry,
ending
I laughed so
Oh,
hard when you said it's bleak. I'm sorry.
oh, no, but, like, the end, it's like, "Oh, guess what? Nothing's
Yeah,
gonna happen no matter how
yeah,
many of you come forward.
yeah,
This creep is still out there." Like,
yeah,
what?
yeah.
Okay, first of all, this is something I saw the title, I'm like, "What?" Like,
The
who's
title feels like just a bunch of words
Yeah.
thrown
Well,
together.
because it's like Dancing for the Devil, colon, the 7M TikTok cult or something.
It's like, "What?"
Yeah, it's like, okay. I'm like, "Huh?" So I'm like, "Well, I'll start this." And then I was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, no."
yeah.
And it's interesting, but it's really sad.
It's funny because I feel like part of me is like, are there more
I'm
cults?
sure there are.
But no, I think that, but actually, I feel like there's always been a million cults, and it's a human. Like I think what
People
we're learning is this
Yeah,
is a human thing that
people
we,
want to feel
yeah,
wanted and included and needed.
and told what to do.
Yeah.
Like I think the book I was just talking about has a cult in it, and it it's like the media kind of reflects back often, like, what I mean, the media is full of shit, obviously, a lot of times too, but I think that we're seeing with all these documentaries, you kind of go, "Oh," like with true crime, you're like, "Oh, wow, murder's happening a lot." Like
Yeah.
people in when we were growing up, it was like, "Oh, wow, people get murdered." Well, it's not that people were getting murdered more, it's just that it was being reflected back like this is happening,
Yeah.
right? So it feels like, oh wow, there are a lot of cults. I don't think there's more cults now. It's just like we're like learning, oh wow, we as human beings like being in cults,
Well, and I
you know?
think too that with the advent of technology, like there's
Yeah.
so much documentation now.
Right,
And so like
exactly.
that's why true crime like series and docuseries
Yeah.
are so rife with all of this content because there
Right.
is so much content. So you can make a documentary about anything practically because
Oh
everyone's
yeah.
got a camera on them all the time.
Well, and these narcissistic men love having like all this video of them like they love to hear their own voices
Yeah.
about talking about like all these rules of their stupid cults.
It's exhausting.
I know. Imagine like making one of those documentaries and you have to go through like in this one you're talking about, this Robert Shin, and you have to listen to him talk about how great he is and about his stupid church over and over.
Yeah. It's
And
so
you have
weird.
to edit and like decide what part you're gonna put in it
Yeah.
of him going like, "Yay, now I need your money." You know?
Yeah. No, it's strange. And I obviously feel sorry for the family of the who they were following mostly with this documentary,
Mhm.
the parents and the sister.
Oh my
And like they
gosh.
seemed so close and then they just lost. It's like she died
Yeah.
because even though she's still alive, it's strange.
This is an interesting one because it had the religious aspect of it and then the business aspect
Yeah.
of it. There's so many different ones, like, I love a cult doc because it is
Yeah.
fascinating. And everybody watches them and be like, "Well, that wouldn't be me." But you watch so many of them and you see so many iterations of them. Like, I watched the fast fashion one, the what's the name of that store?
Zara?
No, it's,
Sheehan?
Melville.
Oh.
It was, like, Brandy Melville or something
Oh.
like that, and it was a fast fashion one where, like, young girls were being hired onto the store into the store if they were a certain look, but then they had to have their outfit that they wore to the store, they were being taken picture of every day, and then that had to be, like, okayed by the main guy, like, it was
Oh.
really creepy. And there's that, but then there's, like, another one where it's like, well, this is a business motivation one, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then there's this one where it's like, well, this one's about
Well,
Jesus,
and
and
it's
then,
just it's
you
easy
know?
like the twin flames too, that one.
Yeah.
It's just it's people who are missing something, they need something, and it's if you give them a little bit, they don't realize until they're too far gone, that
Yeah.
they got brainwashed or that they're stuck or
Yeah.
maybe they just believe it.
I feel like this is a great segue to tell people about our horror cult that we're starting for only
Yeah.
$9.99.
No, we are not gonna start a cult, but
No.
I can see how people,
Yeah.
get sucked in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because people prey on other people who are the slightest bit. They even said in that doc, like, people whose dad had just died or who had just moved and didn't have any friends, or, like, it was always somebody who was in this
People
vulnerable
and,
spot.
like, especially this too, like, people who wanted to be in the entertainment industry and
Oh,
wanted to be
yeah.
famous, and so this
Yeah.
little piece of, "Yeah, we're gonna pay you to be on TikTok,"
Yeah.
you know?
And then people get, like, embarrassed when they shouldn't be
Yeah.
because they were taken advantage of, and
I
they shouldn't be
know, I
embarrassed.
know.
They should, like, just be like, "Oh,
Well,
this
like that
person was
one
mean."
woman who just kept saying, like, I'm so embarrassed that I let this happen to me," and it's like,
Oh, I
"Girl,
know.
don't feel like that.
I know, I
He's the
know.
bad guy."
Well, and maybe these documentaries can, like, maybe people can see them and be like, "Oh, that happened to me, and look at all these intelligent people this happened
Yeah,
to." Like, with Nexium and ones like that, where you see some really educated people, or really, like, street smart people
yeah.
who went down paths like that, and maybe you could see them and go, "Okay, like, I see now that a lot of people go down these
Right.
paths, and I can get on with my life." Maybe
Yes.
some good can come out of these
I
kinds
hope
of
so.
docs.
So, yeah, this was on Netflix, only 3
Mhm.
episodes, so it's a pretty quick watch.
Yeah, yeah, it was, and I'm gonna justify me watching trash like that and just say, maybe somebody will learn something from
Yeah.
it, but I think that, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where I think cults have been around for, like, a million. Well, they have been around forever.
Yeah.
And we're just seeing now that they're just well documented, like you
Yeah.
said, because of technology.
And probably more people coming forward, hopefully.
Right. And they're just in the light now.
Yeah. So I want to talk about, we've been to some horror movies lately in the theater, and I'm only going to mention one trailer, and
Okay.
it's the thing that we're most excited for because now there's
Yeah.
2 variations of the trailer, Beetlejuice,
Yes.
Beetlejuice.
Yes.
I know that you're excited. Do you
Yeah.
feel like, I know you kept saying, I feel like you're going to pass out. I know that you were saying, like, I don't want to get my hopes too high because I'm so
Yeah.
excited. But
Yeah.
don't the trailers make you feel like this is going to be as good as we hope it is?
Yes, but I'm really scared.
No, it's going to be fine.
I'm really scared,
I
Kelly.
trust Tim Burton. I trust Winona Ryder. I trust Jenna Ortega. I trust Michael Keaton. It's
I'm
going to
really
be fine.
scared,
Oh,
Kelly.
and Catherine O'Hara. Like, it's going to be fine.
Okay, will you hold my
Yeah.
hand?
Yeah. We have to go together on opening night.
Please.
I think it's going to be good.
I think it's going to be good too. I'm just really scared.
Okay, so somebody pointed out in the trailer the woman working, what is it called now? You know, like in the afterlife.
Yeah.
What is the place called? Anyway,
Yeah.
she's missing her ring finger,
Okay.
and then in the first movie, he takes a finger off and takes the ring and says, "Don't worry, she didn't mean anything to me."
Oh, yeah.
Mean anything? So people are saying that that's his ex-wife.
Oh,
and so
wow.
that she's going to come
People
into
watch
play.
these trailers
Yeah.
so closely.
No, they picked it apart.
Oh my gosh.
And so they're saying that character, and I don't know who it's played by off the top of my head, but
yes,
they're saying this is Beetlejuice's ex-wife, and that she's
I'm
gonna.
like getting warm. No,
You're-
it's just Beetlejuice is really important to
No,
me.
I know.
And I think that when something like this comes along, which I don't even know of like a good example of something like this. Because even like, for instance, like Dr. Sleep or something is not even a good example. I'm trying to think of
Well,
something that would
I think Mad Max Fury Road, because
Okay,
they were the
yeah.
original Road Warrior movie, and then Mad Max, and
yeah.
people who really love that, like I enjoyed it when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but like this was an iteration of a new
Right.
story, and it still blew my mind. So I think it's
yeah.
going to be okay.
Okay.
I do.
I'm glad. I feel like I'm usually very positive about everything. I feel like that's how I usually am. But I will say I was very wrong about, we loved the British Office.
Yeah.
And I was like, the American Office is going to be a pile of shit.
No, I know. And it ended up surpassing it. But also, I hate that they did like word for word, line for line for the pilot. Like that was.
So we were right about that.
Yeah. They shouldn't have done that. But
it obviously
surpassed.
we were proved wrong. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So clearly I don't know about these things.
It'll be
Clearly
okay.
I'm not good at predicting. So I was definitely wrong on that one. So okay, the thing is I'm just I think it's just very important to me. So I'm
Of
just
course.
like,
It feels personal.
Yeah. So I'm just like, please don't be bad. But then you know what makes me feel the most okay is Catherine O'Hara.
Oh yeah, no, she's great.
It's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be fine.
It's
I
gonna be
promise.
fine. Okay.
I promise.
Okay.
Okay. That's it for today, Meg. I'm gonna let you go and like splash some water on your face or something.
I'm like fully like Lydia Pale.
I mean, you
at this
started,
point.
but you started hyperventilating talking about Brad Dourif, and now you're
did,
full.
and now I'm fully out.
Okay. So, yes, we are going to be back next week talking
Yes.
about more things horror.
We are. Yes. I'm so glad that we're here in the studio and that Chucky.
Yes, thanks, Chucky,
Wouldn't
for
it be
joining
weird
us.
if like we got on our comments that Chucky like had been moving like an inch every like couple minutes or something?
No, I love that.
And we didn't even notice.
I know. We'll see it. We'll look at the feedback.
I know.
Well, I mean, at the
Put it down in the comments, everyone.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Horror Rewind.
To stay up to date on all our ghoulish happenings, you can visit our website down in the show notes.
Make sure to check to see if we are lurking through your town on our upcoming book tour or events.
You can also stalk us on YouTube and Patreon and all of your favorite social media platforms.
Thanks for listening to Horror Rewind. We'll see you in the horror section.